What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
And today we are diving into Dune, episode 5. Super excited. A whole lot of things that we've been predicting coming true or not. And we also have some really solid evidence on what's actually happening now. Also, some more questions, so we'll have some predictions at the end. Stick with us, and remember, this is more of a discussion than it is us preaching to you. So engage with us in the comments, let us know what you think about certain topics as well. Your theories, we can't wait to read them. What do you think, brother?
So much happened, that's why I organized my thoughts around it.
It was a big episode.
But I guess let's start towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's go to the one acolyte who is not having a dreams and her being enrolled, I would say, into the experiment and the secret of Tula. We said Tulia a lot. This episode is Tula. Okay. So that's why I paused there. I was like, gotta fix that. Tula. And I guess it's a smart idea because I saw the reasoning behind it. They even said, look, if you're not having the dreams, hopefully you won't be affected. And so you are literally the perfect person should anything go bad here.
Yeah.
And then we got to see Lila awake and alert, but it wasn't Lila.
Correct.
It was the great-grandmother? Or
It was the founder.
what is she bloodline-wise?
Would be great, really far back great-grandmother, yeah.
Okay. She seemed really freaking cool. And I liked the little nod of, how'd it go with your sister and my granddaughter? She was like,
Yeah, she knew right away.
Yep. And then she just moved right on.
Yeah, no, there's a lot happening in that, right? So we have obviously now a very clear confirmation of possession. So we know that Lila is dealing with the ancestors, her former consciousness inside of her. The one thing I didn't think was going to happen did happen this episode where Mother Raquel, who is the founder of the order, took over and helped. I thought that this whole thing was just going to blow up in their face and it was going to be Dorothea who took over. That still may happen. We still have one more episode, which I'm going to see how they do it. I'm sticking in for it. I want to see how they can put a bow on all this in 6 episodes. But yeah, so we have Abomination. That's the first time they've used the word abomination inside of the Dune prophecy, which is, a hint towards the actual books and then later in the series because we're far back in the timeline right now.
What's the abomination?
It's when someone becomes conscious of their lineage before they're ready for it. And so what ends up happening is those lineage win the battle and they take over the body. And when someone's basically wearing you as a meat suit, they call that an abomination.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It makes sense because it's no longer the intended person or soul or whatever consciousness, whatever you want to think of it as.
Yeah. And so in the Dune universe, they refer to that as abomination. But it ends up being that Mother Raquel comes back and gives us a huge hint to what Damon's doing, which I thought he had to be some sort of Atreides. Turns out he's Atreides Harkonnen mix, the very daughter of someone's name we said very wrong all last episode, or very son of? Yeah, son of her. So you didn't catch that, right? Did you catch that?
Well, I saw in her shocked face, I was wondering if that was the case because of how she reacted. So you're confirming that is the case?
Yeah, 100%. Which is a total nod to Paul, because Paul finds out that he also is Harkonnen and Atreides, and then that kind of becomes the mixture of the bloodline, where the original plan for the Bene Gesserit was to have Fade mate with Jessica, or marry and have a baby with Jessica's daughter, but she has Paul instead, and Paul becomes the thing. But yeah, so this is a nod to that, I would say.
And there's so much happening with Desmond right now, too.
Yeah.
And the way it fucking left off, that really annoyed the living shit out of me. But the Harkonnen nephew that's now in control.
He's now the Baron.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he went to Desmond to up his status at the will of his aunt. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell if he's playing her or it's a bit of both, or he's not even sure yet.
Right now, he's still just playing Valia's plan.
You think so?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know.
What makes you say no?
Maybe I'm reading too much into it because they are actors, but the way he reacts when he's talking to his aunt when he gets back from talking to Desmond, he also left out specific pieces that Desmond asked him for the information to get her, right?
I don't think I'm tracking.
So he's withholding all the conversation that he had with Desmond when he filled her in.
Okay.
He didn't give her all the information. He left that key detail out of, hey, I'm supposed to get evidence on you specifically.
Okay.
So maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I see that as he's not being 100% genuine. I think he's hedging his bets in case something goes wrong, because he does know that the history of their family has kind of been screwed over by Volia.
Yeah, what do you think of the comments? Do you think that the new Baron, the great nephew there, is just still her puppet? That's what I truly believe. Or maybe he's playing both sides, hedging his bets, as Liam believes. I would love to hear what you guys think. At first, when he first walked in, I thought he was trying to save his own ass. But when he went back and talked to Valia, and Valia almost verbatim tells him what he was supposed to say to him again, like, did you say that? Like, so I was like, oh, he doesn't have the spine to go against her. He's just literally doing what she says. And all of it is her play.
Well, he also hints, I wish I had a truth sayer to know whether your words are true.
Yeah. Fair enough. There's some doubt there. Like, he definitely doubts her, but I don't think he has the cojones, the spine, to do anything about it.
All right. And what about good old Princey boy? That got interesting.
Yeah, so we got to meet his mother, who is a Bene Gesserit, who is actually, I would say, the true love of the Emperor. And I've told you this before, but in Dune, it's pretty common where who you love isn't exactly who you marry, and who you have kids with might not be your wife because they have concubines in Dune. So my guess is they all grew up together somehow. Like, they have history. Like, there's a deep history there. So either she used to be the truth sayer for him when he was younger, for his family, or there's some sort of history there that we didn't really get to dive too deep into. But seeing the way that he and her Emperor interacts with her, which ultimately leads the Empress to kind of like break off and go do a different thing, I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic in itself. I think that that's going to be more of the downfall of the current Emperor than anything else, is a love feud, basically.
You think so?
Yeah, because at this point, I think that the Empress is trying to seduce / enroll Desmond into basically being her own personal enforcer. And that there will come a time where she tries to seduce him with the idea of being in control and like using his power to like bring real peace and actually control the universe. We'll see if that actually takes fruition or not, but I think that's her goal. Her goal is to be in power, to control. And I think that's what she's going for.
Okay.
Well, you said the son, right? So the son, all he wants is approval from his father, right? He's just the afterthought, basically. He thinks his father doesn't even care about him. And so as soon as his father starts to show him any sign of care, proud, anything like that, he automatically went to heel and bowed down and left his sister high and dry, which I thought was really strange, since it's like his life mission is supposed to be protect his sister.
Is it though?
I don't know. That's what his purpose is. That's what they told him his purpose was.
Well, that's what his mom said after she was pressed over and over. I'm not so sure that's the actual truth. I've got a very large distrust of this Bene Gesserit, even in their personal families and relationships that they have. It seems all really fucked up.
Sisterhood first.
Yeah.
Yeah, the agenda comes before everything else. They'll hurt their own families.
Yeah. Hence why I have large trust issues around them. Like, are they even being genuine right now? And you don't really know.
I don't think they really ever are, right? Like, maybe they'll tell you a truth, but that truth is always within the parameters of helping them, right? It's benefits their agenda. Otherwise, you don't know that information. Simple as that for them.
I feel like this episode was a bit too much rushed through. Like, there was so fucking much going on.
Yeah.
I can't even process all the details that have happened in this episode in its entirety yet. So, still talking about the prince goes to the Atreides, the Swordmaster, for training, shows up late. He tells him, nope, your lesson is pretty much think about what you've done and whether you want to continue doing this, because I'm not going to waste my time if you're not willing to give everything to learn for it.
Yeah, I mean, so he said that, but he said that we kind of jumped over the fact that Desmond was in the room too. and that he was also almost feeling as if he was caught.
Yeah.
He was very nervous, wasn't quite sure where that whole thing was going. And we just saw in this episode the true birth of the Sardaukar, the actual Emperor's army. That's who Desmond's in charge of right now. And so, like, when he showed up with a bunch of Sardaukar warriors,
I don't know what that means.
with like some elite warriors.
I heard that where he's like, yeah, I created an elite unit for you and I want you to control them and all that shit. But to me, it doesn't really mean much right now.
Well, it should, because we've talked about it and it's in the movies you've seen. So it's the guys that wear the thing and they talk all throaty. They wear basically a spacesuit all the time.
I didn't understand it then, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you're seeing the birth of them, the true birth of them. You actually saw them all standing in formation. He gets awarded the forget the word with the B, which basically is in the general basically for that universe.
Bashar.
Yes, thank you, Bashar. He becomes the general, and then he basically wants to immediately take action on these rebels, right? So he goes, finds one, which brings him to their usual hangout, which is where we have the multi-layered bar. She owns a tavern. She's Bene Gesserit. She's also Fremen. Like, she's just like so layered of a character. It's kind of crazy. But we go to her place. She's laying bombs everywhere, right? So we have the Swordmaster, which is where you left off, right? The Swordmaster runs to her to let her know what's going on. And then they blow up the place, killing most of the Sardaukar. They get out just barely. And Desmond, at the last second, taps his shield, which saves his life.
Those 4 babies, they're only a few hours old.
Right?
The elite unit just wiped out in one fell swoop after just the inauguration of just a few hours ago.
Oh, but that was just like 6 of this. Like there was a very small unit. That was like a troop, not the entire squadron, right? Like it was just a small piece of them. Yeah.
I thought it was the whole thing because there was a lot of people there. And I didn't know if the other ones were like waiting outside or anything like that.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know.
I don't think they got them all.
It was really cool though. And she kind of outed herself with the Bene Gesserit thing when she really fucked that one dude up.
Yeah, they're the only ones.
That was a good move.
Yeah.
That was extremely graceful. The actress did an amazing job with that. I thought that was super fucking cool. And we got to see the Atreides Swordmaster in action as well. Mm-hmm. And he's got some pretty good moves on him, and he's ruthless.
You know, you don't make it a Swordmaster without being pretty badass, right?
He's ruthless. But the conversation that he has with the Fremen chick was along the lines of she warned him not to get too attached to this identity. And I thought that conversation was really cool. He's like, but what if the person I'm pretending to be is better than who I am, especially not that? And she says,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you just burst this man's bubble.
He was like welling up with tears in the eyes there.
Yeah.
Scene for sure. Yeah. He was like, oh, wait a second. You mean I can never be a better man? Like, that's not in my cards.
That was, and then why does Desmond have that shield thing too? Where'd he get that from? Just,
We didn't know he had it.
no.
That was a surprise. We didn't
Yeah.
know he had that shield.
Okay, I gotta ask though. I have not seen any other character when they use their shield go and cup their balls. That's how he activated it. He cupped his balls. Did you notice that?
It looked like he like grabbed his wrist or something. It was very.
He just went.
It's okay.
He put it in over his dick. I was like, what the hell?
Maybe he just wants to make sure he saves himself.
Or at least at one piece.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Very male thing to do.
And he knew he was going to use it later in the episode. He needed it.
Good segue. That's a great segue. Him and the queen
Yeah.
or emperor.
Things that should be an empress. Yeah. She's an emperor. I just like, yeah. I already brought it up earlier, but yeah, I think she's going to try and seduce him and use him as a weapon. Right? I don't think she has any kind of true love or fondness for him. I just think that he's the most powerful thing right now.
Does she still have? Did she end up with all the abilities of the Bene Gesserit?
Who?
The Empress.
She's not Bene Gesserit.
She's not. But
She's from Arrakis.
they were saying that they took everything from her. It sounded like she was part of their order or whatever. The way she was communicating it to Desmond.
No, I think you may have misunderstood them because they were going to take her daughter from her.
Yeah.
So that's what she was talking about. She was like, they've taken everything from me. Like my husband's trust, my power, my daughter. Like, that's what she was talking about. She doesn't have Bene Gesserit training.
Are we sure?
I mean, I'm 99% sure.
Okay, because I thought they were alluding to that she was part of it and they ripped it away from her. And then they took all the other stuff. That's what I was hearing when I was watching it.
So it was like rejected from the school, is what you think?
I think she was like part of the school as a student or acolyte, and then at some point it was taken from her. As we saw in this episode, they've removed somebody else from the school too because of the fear and everything. And then there are people that are just backing out from fear.
I love that they're doing that.
Why?
Because it's such a nod and such a like hint to the litany of fear and what comes later. Like by the time we meet Jessica, who is like our introduction to the Bene Gesserit, right? She's reciting the litany of fear. Fear is a mind killer. I will, let it, I forget the exact words, but it's like, I will embrace my fear and let it pass through me, right? Like, so it's like, literally the thing that stuck out to me the most the first time I watched Dune was that. So I think it's really cool that now we're seeing that the Bene Gesserit didn't always have that. Matter of fact, there was a pandemic of fear that was about to go wipe them out, either through having people leave or actually killing them like they did with Kasha. And we're, I believe, going to see here either at the finale, which is the next episode, or in season 2, season 1, part 2, if they approve it, right? As I keep joking, we're going to see the birth of the training that allows them to conquer fear, which ends up becoming the litany of fear. Because it's something that the Bene Gesserit all recite. Fear is not an issue for them. And there's a reason why now. We know why they took on that training and mastered it and made it become the thing it is. And when we see them, it's because at one point, there was a altered version of a robotic virus that instead of attacking your liver, attacks your fear center of your brain. And that's, I believe, the only way they're gonna be able to conquer it is to have no fear.
Is that something that's coming up now?
It's happening right in front of us on the screen, yeah.
This is the virus?
The virus that we're seeing right now, that Desmond uses to kill people.
Okay, that's what they were referring to?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a virus that he uses. It's a delayed virus. It incubates in your brain, and it's activated by fear. And the more afraid you get, the more activated it gets.
That's why he puts on the show, like you were saying.
He scares them. It's not, I thought it was some sort of touch or nano. No, it's a virus. And then when they can get you scared, that's why he leaned in and whispered to him, no one's gonna get away from this. When you go back and watch the scenes, it makes total sense now.
It does.
He's using fear to initiate it, and those who have the virus in them, when they're afraid, it activates.
So how is he specifically choosing the infected?
We don't know that yet. But what we know is the fear-based virus. And I think the amygdala is the fear center of the brain. And it all just like the virus all congregates there. And then what initiates it is fear, or activates it, should say. It's fear, it's a catalyst.
Viruses are typically known for being extremely viral, right? Hence the name. So it should be able to spread very easily, which means it would make me think that too many casualties would be inflicted with this and die if they just got scared.
Yeah, well, the original Omnius virus, which is what they're talking about it being like adapted from, basically, was just designed to wipe out people, right, in general. So whatever we're seeing now is like that 2.0. It's got a different center of the brain, because before it was the liver, now it's the brain. It can be, before it was a super delayed reaction, now it's almost like it could be activated like that when he knows how to do it. So it's like almost like an upgraded virus where he can control who gets it and when it's activated and how badly it hurts them, which makes me think
He's AI.
he's AI. He is some sort of robot. Based on everything we're seeing right now, he may have started out with the blood of Tula's son, but he is some sort of hybrid AI human that still has blood but has robotic features.
That is my guess. Cyborg.
So he's a cyborg of some sort.
Okay.
Which they make those. What were they called? Well, I'll look it up. But there actually are
Cyborg?
people who lived and like put their brains into. Dang it! It was during the Butlerian Jihad. I can't think of it. But yeah, there's people who became like. Anyway, Omnius wiped them all out. But
Yeah, and then he's a cyborg, but I still don't know how they're going to do it, and it's frustrating the hell out of me. Oh, I was like talking about, so you were right about him planting the blood. If he is a cyborg, it could be his true blood, or he could have just planted it anyway, throw them off. So either way, you were right that he did it intentionally.
I think also Cyborg makes more sense because every time he uses this ability, it destroys his matter, like the actual like
His physical body.
right, almost like the machine's too much for the body to take.
Would make sense. We are kind of frail in comparison when it comes to different alloys and computer stuff, so it makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, said something about the old Earth Terra they were talking about in this episode. What is that?
Earth. That's where we all come from.
Okay.
It's destroyed now, though. It's no longer like a utopia.
I thought the imprinting scene was cool. That conversation that she had. Do you remember?
Yeah.
She was talking about she wanted her to learn how to imprint or appreciate the fact of imprinting.
I think she wanted her to understand the impact of it. Yeah.
That's pretty wild, and it makes a lot of sense in terms of manipulation.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. Like, if you go ahead and help them, set them on a new course for their betterment, they're always going to have a fond memory of you, period. And you're going to be an influential member many years down the road, even if you're not around.
Yeah.
I think that's really scary and fucked up if it's used for bad.
Well, they're the master of manipulation, so it's definitely being used for evil. Yeah. They're not using it for positive persuasion.
And then that Fremen chick, when she goes to Valia later on, and she's like, oh, you're being groomed right now. Be ashamed if you woke up. Think for yourself.
Yep.
Don't let her fall for it. But she thought she was going to get thrown under the bus right there.
Yeah. I don't think anybody really, I think they fear and then don't trust Valia at the same time.
That seems to be an extremely common thread, even with Tula.
Well, she knows what her sister's capable of. She fears her.
I think it's both.
Do you think Valia knows that Tula had the baby and got rid of it?
Is this something you know that I
No, I'm curious. I haven't read the Sisterhood of Dune, which is the book this is based off of.
I honestly have no idea. Some of the stuff I feel like I'm certain on, and like Desmond being AI. Then there's other stuff where I'm just like, let's see where this goes. Okay.
Oh, it gets way weird. Like, you get past like Children of Dune, and it just starts getting weird. Like, it gets real weird. But anyway, I don't think we'll ever get there in the actual cinematic universe, unfortunately, just because it's too weird to adapt.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
So it pretty much left off with the Empress and Desmond kissing. She makes the move, and he's just like, what the fuck? Oh,
More
I'll
Game
go
of
with
Thrones in space.
Game of Thrones in space.
There's been many times through many episodes of this season, of this series, I should say, there's only one season, where that's the exact thing I thought. Like, damn, we're just doing Game of Thrones, Game of Space. That's what we're doing.
And new Space Fleet Commander.
That's not going to last very long. He's incompetent. But yes, the prince, the bastard son. Mm-hmm. Damn, you're a bastard. Bastard dead.
And we also have the princess changing sides.
We also confirmed that our Swordmaster, Atreides, really did fall in love with the princess and is going against his values and beliefs as a rebel for love.
Yep.
I think she's going to let him go. She's going to free him.
They're definitely going to be a power couple of the Resistance.
Well, yeah, she's full-blown pissed off now. Her brother, the one person she was still trying to protect, just turned her back on him, or turned his back on her. Her dad's completely lost his mind. He watches her mother get humiliated basically at the table and walk away. Yeah, she's pissed, and she's got a vendetta against her dad.
And we also see the Emperor and his mistress, the father of the prince, in that room with him kind of taking his shirt off and her just putting her hand on his chest. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was like innuendo, but not.
Yeah. I don't know, right? Because they're doing a very good job of keeping us on the fence of whether the Bene Gesserit or any real character in this like really does love something, or if they're just like following some sort of agenda, right?
Definitely seems to be a theme, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I do a good job with it because I'm always like, which is it? But in this particular case, I think the Emperor truly does love her, and at one point, maybe she really did love him, which is why they had a kid together. But then I'm like, there's a whole breeding program. So did she send her there just to have the baby, and that's why now I don't know, because that's what Jessica was supposed to do with Leto. Instead, she had Paul and didn't listen. So I'm just like, it just keeps you on the fence, right? It just keeps you on the fence, which I think is one of the reasons we keep coming back, right? We want to know. Yeah. A lot of really cool stuff. We found out that Desmond is Tula's son, who she abandoned basically at birth so she could be a Bene Gesserit, or maybe hide her from her sister. We don't know yet. But whatever happened to him on Arrakis, he is no longer just human. And he has the ability to control an RNA style virus. So it's like it attacks a different part of the body. And whatever it is, it's evolved since the last time we've seen it, which was in the great AI war, the thinking machine war. So there's definitely connects to AI now. So Desmond's something different, right? So we definitely got to solve that problem. We got to figure out whether or not the princess lets out her new lover and they become they leave with the Fremen lady and become rebels. What's actually going to happen with House Harkonnen? Is this Baron smart enough, conniving enough? Is his aunt going to help him enough to get where he wants to go? Is he going to turn his back on his aunt? That could be interesting. A lot of questions still. 1 episode to go.
This is fucking bullshit. Ursula, this is bullshit. Like, I feel like there's no way I can be satisfied with this last episode.
It's going to be a huge cliffhanger for sure.
I seriously don't think I can be satisfied with the last episode, no matter how they do it. The way they set everything up, it is impossible to be satisfied. And maybe that's the intention.
Well, I think they may have missed the mark then, because there has to be a balance between giving us enough that we're going to rave about it and want to go see it, and then leaving enough that we still have like mystery and questions that are going to sustain us until the next season. The issue is if you don't fulfill on the value up front, there is never a next season, so none of the questions get answered and we're just pissed off.
There's probably, thousands of hours of movies or series that could be made from the original content, if not more, right?
Yeah, if you start adapting, so first of all, we've never even seen the full original run happen at all. We get to Dune Messiah, basically, and then we stop. Then there was that really good run, the DVD I brought over, where we do see Children of Dune, at least. But that was like a mini series that they did on like the Sci-Fi channel. So really good, in my opinion, one of the best, but still there's no adaptation. But then if we start doing any of the, there's so much content, like you were saying, so much that, yeah, we could have series for days, weeks, years, millennia, centuries. I don't know anything bigger than that.
Well, tune in next week and see whether we're really disappointed or just a little disappointed.
Yeah, let us know. What do you guys think? Are they going to be able to sum it all up? Are they going to leave us with such a big cliffhanger that they actually don't even get enough support to make a second season? What do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen here? And as always, we appreciate you engaging down in the comments. If you have not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and watch the entire playlist right here. We've only got one more to go. You'll be able to watch the entire series review right up here. We're also reviewing Silo at the same time. You can check out that review down here. That one's coming. That's got a lot of really amazing stuff happening right now as well that we've been discussing. I ate crow on a couple of things. If you want to see me eat crow, you could do that in that video right there. It was the most recent one. And as well as something you might like right up here. But anyway, all of that. We'll see you on the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that little bell. We'll see you on the inside.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were. You've already come far.